A day in the life of Dennis Terrell. I think one of the hardest things to tell a person is I'm sorry or to really give forgiveness. We always talk about watching our back. We always talk about being careful or keep people out of your circle or be on guard, which is true. I'm not saying it's not, especially in this day and age, it's hard to trust people. But when you have people that you care about and you care about them and they care about you, when they make a mistake or you have issues with them, one of the hardest things to do is say, look, I made a mistake. Look, I'm sorry. And I'm not going to talk about nobody else. I'm going to talk about myself. I know me, Dennis Terrell, it was hard for me because I always wanted revenge. I always had to get even. Somebody hurt me, okay, I'm going to hurt you back. I'm going to get even with you. Now we become enemies. But when somebody close hurts you, that's a whole different ball game. You know, y'all might not talk for a couple of days, but then you think about, what am I doing? This guy is my friend, or this guy is somebody I care about. And I had to work on that. Say, look, I'm sorry, or if I make a mistake, admit to the mistake I made. Don't push the blame on somebody else. I made a mistake. I did something I shouldn't have did. I apologize to you. I'm sorry. Or own up to the mistakes you made. Because when you truly are good friends, I don't believe in putting hands on your friends. I know friends fight. I know they have disagreements, but any friend that I ever had, I never put hands on them. I'm like, okay, this guy's my friend, so I'm not going to put my hands on you. We friends. Now that we have disagreements, of course. That we not see eye to eye, of course. But one of the most important things was, how do we forgive each other? What do we do to make it right? Because when you really care about somebody, y'all gonna have disagreements. Y'all not gonna agree on everything. That's what's important. Even when I was married to my wife, one thing I had to work on is not going to bed angry. Because you could go to bed angry with somebody, then they might not wake up, and then you can't even make it right. When my wife passed away, she died in my arms. And I always think about, what if we would have been angry at each other and I didn't talk to her? I'm glad that we was able to always make peace with one another if we had a disagreement. So I was able to give her a hug and kiss. I was able to be there for her. That's what's important. So you remember that. If you have a wife or you have a girlfriend, don't go to bed angry. Some things are not worth arguing about. Arguments are worse than death. So you don't want to always be arguing. Sometimes you got to be the bigger person. Let it go. It's not always good you got to be right. It's a such thing as being dead right. Okay, you right, but the person hates you. What good is that? Y'all not talking, but you right. It's a way to handle things. Communication is everything. It's important that y'all learn how to have a disagreement. You're not going to agree on everything. You could be like, look, I don't agree with you. You don't agree with me. So we're going to respect each other and we just disagree. That's just how it is. You're not nobody's daddy or mother, or this not slave days where you got to agree on everything that a person say. That's a good thing about relationships. Y'all have difference of opinion. That's what makes the relationship great. You have a right to have your own viewpoint in life. You think for yourself. That's what's important. And if you make a mistake or you do something you shouldn't be doing, be man enough or woman enough to say, look, I made a mistake. Nobody's perfect. Things happen. There's no such thing as you do everything right. That's not how life works. You make mistakes. You have issues. You have disagreements. It's going to happen. But it's how you handle the situation. If a person is close to you, you don't want to offend them. You want to make sure you're doing everything you need to do to be a good friend or be a good husband or be a good wife. I mean, that's important. The most best relationships is relationships where communication is awesome. Y'all know how to communicate with one another. You know how to say, you know what, this is no big deal. And you got to have compromises. That's in everything you do, you got to be able to compromise. Know how to talk to one another. And that's with everything. You can't be right all the time. You can't always have things your way. That's not how life works. You still got to say, okay, you know what? We got to do things your way sometimes. Or I got to be agreeable to you. I can learn from you. It's an understanding that I have to have with one another so y'all can succeed. The worst thing that can happen is you're around a person that feel they don't make mistakes or they feel they always right or your feelings don't come in consideration. They don't even care about you. All they care about them, what makes them happy. It's all about me. I don't want to be around people like that. One thing I learned is I have to be considerate to everybody. It's not always about Dennis Terrell. It's not always about what Dennis Terrell want to do. What it is about is how can Dennis Terrell be a better person? What can Dennis Terrell do to help people? If I offend somebody, I don't mind saying, look, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I did something I shouldn't have did. I want to apologize to you. Let me know what I need to do to make it right. And I'll be man enough to say, you know what, I was wrong. That's the good thing about life is the longer you live, the better you can to work on yourself. It's all about working on yourself. It's all about evolving. Being able to say, you know what, I was wrong. It's okay. I might be wrong again. But I don't want to keep making the same mistakes. I want to keep bettering myself so I can be a better person. So I can help other people. That's what it's about. It's not just about my way. Like you hear people say, oh, it's my way or the highway. Really? There's other highways you could travel on. You don't have to go down your highway. It's a lot of things in life that you learn. It's about building relationships. It's about being able to get along with people. You don't want to always have enemies. If you're constantly making enemies or you constantly fighting, there's something that you're doing. You're the problem. If you go somewhere and everybody hates you, you're the problem. I'm just telling you how it is. You have to realize, look, okay, and I'm not saying everybody is meant to be a people person. That's not what Dennis Terrell is saying. What Dennis Terrell is saying is you have an opportunity to be a better person, better your life. You want to be somewhere people can talk to you about anything. You know, you want to be willing to make friends. That's okay. And I'm not saying you got to be friendly with everybody. I'm not saying that, but you don't want to be starting arguments everywhere you go. You got enemies. That's a problem. Everywhere you go, people can't stand you. That's not how I want to be. I want to be where I can get along with people. I can help better people's lives. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to hurt people. I'm not here to say I'm better than people. We all in the same boat. We all trying to make it. We all trying to survive. These are depressing times. We're in the depression, the economy is falling, we got this virus going on. Now is not the time to be enemies with people. Now it's the time to help people. Do whatever you can to better your life. That's what it's about. A day in the life for Dennis Terrell.